Paul Callander, you're the chair of the Manuka Honey Association in Australia and of Manuka Life. Great to be speaking with you on Flow.
Thanks, Ricky. Good morning.
Now, you're based in Western Australia. You're on your way to a conference, so thanks for just slipping us in for a chat at the moment. First of all, have I got that pronunciation right, Manuka?
Absolutely.
I know sometimes I used to work in Canberra a bit, and Manuka is what they call one of the suburbs there, but it's definitely Manuka.
Yeah, it's been called that since the 1830s.
Yep, and when it comes to, let's get something else out of the way early, this has been quite popular, this version of honey, with the celebrity set in the Hollywood, for instance. Is that part of why it's become so popular around Australia?
I think they've helped to give it recognition of some of the special attributes of the honey, so I don't think that's the only reason, but they've certainly helped to elevate the status of the honey, and having people like that, publicly acknowledge the health benefits is good for the brand.
And to be clear as well, this can only be sourced in this part of the world. Can we talk about the kiwi elephant or the kiwi in the room?
Absolutely. We are in current trademark intellectual property office hearings in the UK, which started yesterday. The Kiwis are claiming that this only came from New Zealand and that Manuka's only real from New Zealand, which is not true. We've had it here since the 1830s. The science and geography and history that we show it growing across Australia, and particularly the same plant that they've got in New Zealand growing through Tasmania and Victoria. So it's a furphy. We totally respect the Kiwis for their Maori heritage and everything, but we've never called Manuka the way it means anything in the Maori language.
Now, this plant that it's derived from, it only exists here in New Zealand, is that right?
That's correct.
And what's the name? Leptospermum something or other?
Leptospermum is the name of the species, and we've got 84 populations of that, including the one that the Kiwis have called Leptospermum scaparium. So they have one, we have 84.
Okay. Now, before talking about your latest project, which is quite interesting about growing this in glass houses, but first of all, the health benefits, it's got antibacterial properties, is that right?
Yeah, Ricky, it's science-based, so it's fact-proven, so we can ship high-grade Manuka honey into intensive care units to fight superbugs, and that's FDA approved. So in the US, it's fairly tricky to get things approved like that. So it shows the science is real. We've been doing that for 10 years.
And I'm a novice on this front. Is it ingested or applied externally? How is it giving that health benefit?
For the wound products, mate, it's applied externally. So it actually is bactericidal, which means it kills bacteria. It doesn't just stop them and reproducing, it actually kills them. So you apply it to the wounds and it creates an area of resistance around the wounds and kills the bacteria. So it's highly antimicrobial and antibacterial.
And is that the principal health benefit, or have others been identified as well?
Oh, there's all sorts of health benefits, mate. There's the grading of the honey, which is measured by a chemical compound called methylglyoxal. That's the direct indicator of the activity of the honey. And so at the low end, it's just very good for general health and wellness. As you get an increase in activity, there's products coming out with probiotics, gut health, gingivitis for teeth, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties, and then, of course, applications with wounds, gels, wound irrigation washes, all kinds of cosmetics. So there's multiple value-add products that are created for the cosmetic, pharmaceutical and medical industries.
Well, little wonder then that you're part of a project because where you're looking to grow this in glass houses, the leptospermum, because you can sort of incidentally, the bees might pick up some of the nectar for that plant from around in the environment. You're looking to concentrate that and get 100% Manuka honey.
That's correct. We've been in a plant breeding program for 5 years, partially funded by AgriFutures, the Australian federal government, to deliver elite clonal Manuka honey and oil genetics. And so what we're trying to do, we've now got those elite genetics where we've extended the flowering time. We've got very high methylglyoxal in the honey. And if we put those into a glass at large infrastructure environments to control temperature, the yield of that honey goes up considerably, as well as getting monofloral honey. Utilizing technology which is both good for the environment and the production of very high-grade monofloral honey.
So is this in a sort of experimental stage, or are you at the stage you're building up the glass houses for a potential export sometime soon?
It's in experimental stages. Once again, AgriFutures has been really good with us and continued to help to fund this, as it'll be a world first where we're actually integrating bees into the glass houses, and we'll rotate the bees in and out. And so we're just putting in the first smaller shelters into the plantations now, and then we're looking to build larger glasshouse or infrastructure going down the road.
Now, I know it's a hot topic with people, excuse the pun here, but when it comes to carbon footprint, are you saying this is good for the environment as well, growing it in glasshouses?
We use much less land. We can control the water. We can use, the best technology that people like the Dutch have used for years. The Dutch are now the number 2 food exporter in the world, which is pretty amazing because they're a tiny little country with very expensive land. So the utilization of resources like large-scale infrastructure is actually environmentally very friendly. And if we can get beekeepers to work within, in those enclosures, then they don't have to travel for miles and miles every year. They've got very high-grade honey they're producing, which means they get a good income. They can use a lot of bees to rotate in and out. So it's actually got some very good social environmental aspects to it.
Now, just before I let you go, the dollar value of this, the premium for Manuka honey, what are we talking about in terms of compared to your standard supermarket shelf honey?
Oh, this stuff selling in 250-gram jars in Harrods at the very high end, 1,000 MGO plus for $800 a jar. So it's
far out.
It gets very expensive. But the whole thing here, Ricky, is about building something that we can create quality-controlled supply chains from clonal genetics that enable us to go and talk to very large pharmacy and medical companies about value-add products for those industries, right? So it's not just about the honey. This is about building natural science-based products for the pharmaceutical and medical industries.
Yeah, and that's important as we, I guess, get people that concerned about the origins of health treatments. This one's 100% from nature. Yeah,
and it's science-based, and so some of these synthetic products we're making these days, the bacteria know how to fight them, and so they're not effective anymore. And so this is a natural cure for that, which is pretty important.
Well, Paul Callander from Manuka Life, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate your input on a fascinating topic as it develops as an Australian and New Zealand, I guess, niche in the world market.
Absolutely, Ricky. Appreciate the help on spreading the word. Thank you.